Minasan yokoso. Welcome to Jalvis in Japan podcast, and today I'm in Okinawa. Ooh, it's sunny. No, it's not sunny outside. It is raining. Okinawa is tropical. It's nice, pretty weather, but it also means there's a good chance of rain. So that means the good chance to record a podcast. And recently I've been walking around Okinawa, Ishigaki, Iriomote, Yokoyama, and I've seen the difference between Okinawa and Japan, and that is the graves in Okinawa are really, really big. Like, really big. So today, in Jin Japan podcast, we're going to talk about why Okinawan graves are so big. So, when you see Okinawan graves, you see big concrete turtles with a little foyer at the front. That's where I first saw them. I was like, why are they so big? Literally, you could put a house there. Like, you could put a small Japanese house in one of these areas. Being so Okinawa's got some troubles with land, being a lot of it's actually owned by Americans. So I'm like, why are they spending so much money and land for graves? It's a bit odd, but this is actually a cultural custom. What I found actually is really nice, so I looked into it. So I looked into it more, found out a little bit why, and what these graves are part of Okinawan way of life. So first off, we're going to say, why are they so big? There are several reasons for this, and one we start off is actually a cultural practice of funso. It's like a Chinese burial practice. It's different from what we would do in mainland Japan, where you would burn the bodies to do cremation. In Okinawa, you don't burn the bodies, you put the bones in like a little jar. In the jar, so you need a place to collect all, well, the jars of the family. And the graves in Okinawa, and same in Japan, they're communal. They're so ketsurin kanke, so like blood relations. So the family will all be enshrined in the same grave. So for Okinawa, they've got to have a big space, right? Everyone's got to have a little jar. You got to have a lot of it, and you got to make a grave you won't regret, right? Because probably your family is big and wealthy, you get lots of children coming in, they need lots of space in the grave, so you got to make it big, right? You got to think of the future. You want your family to be big and prosper in the future, so you want a big, big grave to put all the bones in. Ooh, a bit spooky when you think about it. But that gets to the next reason why they're so big. And as I said previously, there's a little foyer at the front. There's a little foyer at the front, like a little garden area. This is for the family to gather. A few times a year, like in Japanese Obon in April, the festival, like the Day of the Dead. So the families gather around the graves and they get together. It's a big family get together, and it's like talk to the dead as well. So it's with the living and the past. And they talk about what's going on in their lives, family, new family members, new work, stuff what's going on in the world. Like the dead are gonna know this too, right? So you have family gathering, you have food, good times, enjoy yourself with your current families and the families of long past. I find this is a quite nice cultural thing. It's very like a bonding with the living and the dead. Like a bit different we have in Europe, because it's only individual graves. But when you have a grave for the whole family, it means everyone's got to get together. And it makes sort of strong family bonds, and I quite like that. It sort of means everyone's got to get together, and it's like a bit weird, like you have people having parties at a graveyard, so you don't really see in Europe. I was watching some YouTube videos about this when I was learning, and it's like supposedly like anything really goes at one of these sort of family gatherings. There is some rules we'll get on next, but you can supposedly some people end up like ordering pizza, like bringing a karaoke box, drinking, like there is traditional food you're supposed to eat, but well, people don't have the money for that nowadays all the time, so let's just order pizza and it's a family get together because the deceased person loves pizza. That's what you do, right? Do what the family like and a get together. It seems like a good time and a good sort of enjoyment with the whole family. So next up, we're just going to talk about some of the rules for Okinawan shrines. Or not shrines, Okinawan graves. Well, they are kind of like shrines. Okinawan graves. One of them is where I said family can gather, except if you're pregnant. So if you're a lady and you're pregnant, or you're making a new house, you're like in the middle of building a house as well, you can't. Oh. you can't go to these graves. Why is that? Well, it's got a risk, right? They're not going to go into the world we're living. They're going to be taken to the world of the dead. So it's like, when you think about that, like, ooh, this is probably came at a time where, well, child mortality was quite high, and housing sort of not getting built and broken stuff was quite high as well. So you can kind of figure out that, oh, this could be an unlucky thing linked to pregnant people and people building houses going to the shrines at this sort of time. Superstitions, ooh. Another rule is people outside the family can't go to the grave or pray at the grave of another family. This is very obvious, like you're not part of that family, you shouldn't be going and praying at their grave. It's a bit rude, right? You're not part of that family. So this means if you're a foreigner in Japan and you want to go and see these shrines, don't go inside them, please, because that's really, really rude. And the last rule for Okinawan shrines is don't go at night. Supposedly around the shrine there's sort of spirits and they get angry at night if you come in. So, well, don't go to shrines anyway at night, they are a bit creepy, but yeah, Okinawa ones are big. You could get eaten up and stuck inside. Maybe not. But, again, it's sort of cultural things and they're dark. Like Okinawa shrines, there's no lights around these sort of areas. They're normally in unlit parts. They could, well, be a little bit dangerous to walk around at night, so please don't. So that be all today in this episode of Jarvis in Japan. I hope you learned a little bit about Okinawa. And if you do plan a trip to come to Okinawa, please do visit all the different islands and hopefully you get lucky and don't get stuck in the rain. But if you do get stuck in the rain, there's always something to do. Like you learn, or need a book, learn about Okinawa on the computer, so it's all good. And like me, record a podcast, yay! That was the second time I recorded this, because I recorded in the morning, and then I just listened to it while I was editing it, and it was all muffly. So, 2回目しましょうね。So, 皆さん、最後まで聞いてくれて本当にありがとうございました。じゃあね。